SRN News, I'm Bernie Bennett. Democrat and Republican congressional leaders are heading to the White House in a late effort to avoid a government shutdown. But both sides have shown hardly any willingness to budge. If government funding legislation is not passed by Congress and signed by President Donald Trump Tuesday night, many government offices will be temporarily shuttered and non-exempt federal employees will be furloughed. Republicans are daring Democrats to vote against legislation that would keep the government funding mostly at current levels. But Democrats are holding firm and using one of their few points of leverage to demand action on extending health care benefits. On the eve of meeting with the U.S. President Donald Trump, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel is working on a new ceasefire plan with the White House, but details are still being sorted out. Netanyahu has come under heavy fire and international pressure to end the war, especially during the ongoing offense in Gaza City. This is SRN News.
From director Sean McNamara comes Soul on Fire, based on a true story.
They said you had no chance, but here you are.
Starring Joel Courtney, John Corbett, Stephanie Shostak, Macy McLean, with Devon Franklin and William H. Macy.
If you focus exactly on loving the life that you're living right now, not the life that you think you could have had or should have had, that's the whole deal right there.
Soul on Fire, rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. In theaters October 10th. For tickets, go to soulonfiremovie.com.
Soul on Fire. Is war in the Middle East the revival of an ancient conflict recorded in the Bible?
The nation of Israel is a resurrected nation. So what if there was going to be a resurrection of another people, an enemy people of Israel?
Dinesh D'Souza's new film, The Dragon's Prophecy, is in theaters 2 nights only, October 6th and 8th.
We came back to a land that was largely barren and empty, and we brought it back to life, and we're going to keep it.
Tickets not sold in theaters. Get tickets only at thedragonsprophecyfilm.com.
Your home for Goodland High School athletics. Fort Hays Tech Northwest Tech Tiger basketball, the Denver Broncos, as well as the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer. You're listening to Goodland's Rocket 102.5, KKCI FM, Goodland Colby, an NWKS radio station.
When you gotta go, but there's nowhere to go, who you gonna call? Topside Portables and Pumping, that's who. Weddings, job sites, farm parties, they've got clean, reliable porta potties that don't stink, literally. And if your septic tank smells worse than last year's chili cook-off, they'll pump it out fast. No mess, no fuss. Family owned, Heartland values, always ready. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. When duty calls, they answer.
Coming to you with NWKS Radio News, I'm Connor Schuh. This past Saturday night at 10:58 p.m. local time, a police officer was shot and killed in the line of duty in Hayes. According to Hayes PD, they were responding to a domestic violence call at the 2200 block of Downing Street. The suspect fired shots at the responding officer upon arrival, and said officer was pronounced dead at a local hospital after sustaining injuries at the scene. The suspect also passed as they were pronounced dead on the scene. At the time of this recording, there are no additional suspects being sought in connection to this investigation being conducted by the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. For these stories and more area news, go to nwksradio.net for more.
Similar to yesterday, we're going to have gusty south winds at 15 to 30, maybe gusting to 40 miles per hour with slightly cooler temperatures due to some clouds. Highs will be in the low to mid 80s, lows in the middle 50s. And there will be some chances for isolated storms later this afternoon and evening along and west of the Kansas-Colorado line. Tomorrow we'll have tranquil weather with sunny skies, dry conditions, above normal temperatures with highs in the low to mid 80s and those breezy south winds at 15 to 25, gusting to 35 miles per hour. Lows again will be in the middle 50s. Then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, looks like we're going to stay dry. Winds will turn more southeasterly and lighter at 5 to 15 miles per hour, and above normal high temperatures will continue with highs in the low to mid 80s. Lows will be 50 to 55. Over the weekend, increased chances for showers and storms, and temperatures will drop into the middle 70s. This meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
This season, the Mile High Magic is live on Rocket 102.5. Every hit, every pick, every end zone dance, we've got it all.
Five-man pressure. Rogers hit before he throws it. Sack! P.J. Locke bounced up into the air, bounced again, and then caught by Devon Vele. Touchdown, Denver.
Brought to you by
Vince's GM Center, Proxy Feed Yard Imperial Beef, Simpleman Jewelry, Tubbs & Sons Ford Sales, F&B Bank, and Hurl Chevrolet GMC.
your home for Denver Broncos football. Rocket 1025.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy.
There's the snap to Avery Johnson. Pretty decent protection. Now it breaks down a bit, throws in.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Get ready, hunters. This year's Hunt for Habitat brings you more than just exclusive land access and world-class pheasant hunting. Get your tickets today to enjoy a live performance by singer-songwriter Chancey Williams at the Price Convention Center in Goodland, Kansas. It's all part of the second annual John Leo Hayden Hunt for Habitat, November 7th through the 9th. Brought to you by 24/7 Travel Store, Hayden Outdoors Real Estate, Outdoor Bank, and Golden Waves Grain. Learn more and reserve your spot today at huntforhabitat.com.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Shift your career into high gear with Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. They're hiring a service and parts advisor and a lube tech, and they want you on their team. You'll get competitive pay, full-time hours, health insurance, a 401k, and plenty more benefits, all while working with the crew that keeps the tri-state area moving. So don't idle. Apply today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Your next career is waiting right there under the hood.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 1025 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Covering it all from the preps.
He's at the 10, the 5, he dives for the end zone, he's in! Touchdown, Cowboys!
To the pros.
Line drive, left field, base hit. Here comes McMahon. He'll score. Ball game.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pest Away LLC, Topside Portables and Pupping, and the Farmers State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
Throwing deep for Mole, he's back there, it's underthrown, Mole made a catch! A one-handed grab by Braylon Mole! Touchdown, Cowboys!
This is Edwards, 30, 35, 40, down the sideline. He may house this one. 30, 20, 10, 5. Peter, touchdown, Kansas State. From the 25 to the house, welcome back, a healthy Dylan Edwards.
Green comes in motion, they throw, it's behind Emmanuel Henderson, he makes the catch, here he goes, 35-30, 25-20, 15-10-5, touchdown Kansas, touchdown Emmanuel Henderson.
The one in the 5, down the rail to the end zone, touchdown, Kansas City. Tyquan Thornton learning how to be a red zone receiver.
And good Monday morning, everybody. Off and rolling here on this final Monday of September 2025. I'm Ross Volkmer. Connor Schuh with us here as well as we get set for the week here on the Morning Blitz. If you're tuning in via the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, you will notice that yours truly is not set up currently in the typical Morning Blitz studio. Instead, I find myself in a hotel room in central Kansas. I am on the road broadcasting remotely today due to a death in my wife's family. So we have a funeral to go to here very quickly after the Blitz gets over. So it will be a quick scramble event after this is all done. But this is one thing that I love about technology, Connor. When it all works, knock on wood. Yes, knock on wood. When it all works, it's great and fun. It's good.
So far, so good, right?
So far, so good. Knock on wood. Everything's working well. And glad that everyone is able to join us here today for the Morning Blitz. We'll have a full show ahead today. We'll be talking with Nick Athen of ChiefsBlitz.com. The Chiefs, hey, baby, that looked more like it's what it's supposed to look like. If you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, that certainly looked more like it. We'll get to that with him coming up here with him at the bottom of the hour. We will get to anything we miss from our first segment in the leftovers as we usually do. It's a typical Monday show, and, of course, weekend winners and losers coming up here in just a little bit. Connor, how was the weekend?
It was good. Guardians clinched the division, of course, and they didn't need it, but on Sunday, they got a walk-off winner just to seal the deal and make everything a little bit sweeter, and Ohio State won, so my weekend was great.
I didn't see. What was the final score of the Ohio State-Washington game? It was close at half.
It ended 24-6. I think it was at half. I think they had a field goal, so we didn't allow a touchdown, and we contained them, which is crazy because Demai Williams, it seemed like he was doing everything right. At one point, he was like 14 of 15, but somehow we didn't allow a touchdown.
Yeah, so good weekend for you. The walk-off hit by pitch for the Guardians to clinch. I think I saw that. Got hit. Yeah, walk-off hit by hit batter.
161. CJ Cafis, and then walk-off homer the next day. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, so postseason baseball is banging on our door, and so yeah, we'll be touching on that here in the coming days as well. We'll get into some postseason baseball talk and have some people on that know a little bit more about Major League Baseball than some of us for sure. But it was an interesting weekend for me. It was very busy. Saturday, we were at the Flatlander Fall Festival over in Goodland for the day, which was fun. Great crowd, great weather, great time. Appreciate everyone that stopped by and said hello, and appreciate to Bert and Jessica and everybody else that's in charge of putting that thing on. And seemed like it was a very successful day Saturday. And then Sunday made my way over here into central Kansas where, it's my wife's uncle who passed away, and he was a farmer. At least he was a farmer. And for the last few years, he's done nothing but collect stuff. And so got to go through. And so you can imagine just a farmstead just full of old cars, old farming equipment. You can just imagine it. The guy was a little bit of a pack rat, if you could put it nicely. So there are spent a few hours yesterday going through some stuff. It's been an interesting weekend to say the very least. There's been I've been very busy this weekend. And then of course doing the show remotely, which is fun. Don't get me wrong, and different, but it certainly is a different thing. So all right, we got lots to get to here on today's program. As always, the F&B Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222. If you would like to be part of the Morning Blitz, would love to hear from you throughout the program. If you've got anything you want to bring to the show, we will take it here this morning. With that, let's dive in. We've got weekend winners and losers to get this show rolling.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners. Loser! You're a loser!
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
Want to be a winner, be a winner.
All right, let's get rolling. What do you got for weekend winners?
I'll give some regional love first and foremost to Kansas State. 34-20 win over UCF, and we both thought UCF was going to cover, and I thought they were probably going to win that one, but Kansas State, they went out there and they played well. Dylan Edwards looked good in his big return, I guess, had that huge 75-yard touchdown, but they played the game well in all facets, and they seemed to kind of just have their foot on UCF that entire game, controlled it all around, and I think that's more of the Kansas State football people expected coming into the year, so got to show love to them for getting that first Big 12 win and maybe it's a sign of better things to come.
Yeah, no doubt. Avery Johnson, to me, the difference was Avery Johnson. You look at his number, the difference by that, I'm not saying maybe statistically, but his threat in the running game is how I'm going to put this. His threat in the running game is what makes the difference for Kansas State. 12 carries for 75 yards. He could have had a touchdown. He could have had probably 2 touchdowns. There were 2 scores that were right near the left side, near side pylon that he just stepped out of bounds or just by a toe or so was OB before scoring. He could have had a couple rushing touchdowns. And then, of course, his ability to throw the ball. He doesn't need to be back there throwing the ball for 250, 300 yards a game. That is not his strength. I don't care. See, this is the problem with recruiting these days. And we've lost this picture of, hey, you're a good quarterback. You're a great athlete. Let's not, and then what they sell is, well, we can get you to the NFL. Come play for us and we'll get you to the league. You know, why don't you just sit there and say, you're a phenomenal athlete. Why don't you come to college? We'll develop you as best we can. We're going to continue to show that you're a great athlete, that you can both run and pass. And we're going to put you in the best position to have success. And we're going to be a winning football team. It's all about selling the next level anymore. And it's bogus because you need to be able to go out there and do what you have to do to win. And in order for Kansas State to win, it is not making Avery Johnson sit back there and be a thrower from the pocket or even a thrower on the run. Get him out the pocket. Let him run. It's 11-on-11 football when you put the quarterback in position to run the ball. So why in the world have they not done it? That, to me, was the biggest adjustment that they had to make. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest adjustment that they had to make, and they did it, thank goodness. But, I mean, seriously, that was the difference. Now, don't get me wrong, Dylan Edwards getting back in the mix, had a big, long, like you said, 75-yard touchdown run. Huge. His speed makes a difference. But if you have the speed of both Dylan Edwards and Avery Johnson, that is where you make your money. And by the way, Kansas State defense, too, by the way, was fantastic on Saturday. It was great.
And another cool note, I'm sure you'd appreciate this. Lincoln Cure had his first catch.
Speaking of Lincoln Cure.
There's the snap to Avery Johnson. Pretty decent protection. Now it breaks down a bit. Throws into the middle to Lincoln Cure. His first catch as a Wildcat, and he'll take it to the 40-yard line for a first down.
There you go.
Kozlowski makes the stop, and all of the fans recognize it's the first catch for the outstanding young man from Goodland, Kansas. His first catch as a Wildcat for Lincoln Cure.
Shout out to Wyatt Thompson and the radio call right there for Lincoln Cure's first ever catch. The sad part for Lincoln is his first big statistic in college football, an interception. I didn't see it happen. I tried to go back and find the video. I could not find it. I am just sitting there like, what are we doing? When I saw that stat, I'm like, what are you doing? The guy's
had to get him on the trick.
He's rarely played quarterback in the last how many years? What are you doing? Don't put that on that. Don't put that evil on him. Just throw him the ball. Throw him the ball. Oh, my God.
Not that time.
Anyway, he made a catch later on, and it got a great ovation from the K-State faithful. Big thing, also about this game real quickly, you were talking about, I mentioned the defense. The defense was great. They had 2 interceptions. I think they had a fumble recovery in there as well. Oh, yeah, 1 recovery. So they had 3 forced turnovers. And let's face it, they were physical with UCF, particularly their quarterbacks. Travion Jackson and Curry Brown, the quarterbacks there was a time where they thought they might have to go to the 3rd stringer. They were so banged up in this game. And that's going to play a huge factor for any Scott Frost offense. When you don't have your quarterback, who is supposed to be a dual threat quarterback in the Scott Frost offense, and he's not there, it's hard. Yeah. So that was a big feather in the cap there for the K-State defense. Their physicality with the ability of Avery Johnson to get out and run, and their defensive forced turnovers, all that stuff, that adds up to a very nice 34-21. I would agree that is a winner of the weekend. My first winner of the weekend, I'm going to stick to local high school football here. I'm going to give it to the Wallace County Wildcat football team. The Wildcats with a win here this past weekend. On Friday, they get the win over Dighton, their closest game of the season, 24-12. Now, Dighton had a really rough stretch to this point in time in this season, but Wallace County gets it done, 24-12. They are 4-0. They are unbeaten. And here's the stat. The stat of the day is that the Wallace County Wildcats are 4-0 for the first time in 10 years. It's been a decade. It's been 10 years. 2015 was the last time the Wildcats started out 4-0. There's been some years they started 4-1, but being 4-0 for the first time since 2015, I believe, as my records go back. So tip of the cap to good friend of the program, Kyle Gaffello, the head coach, and all his kids. We'll have to have him on the program this week and talk about this great 4-0 start for the Wallace County Wildcats. But a great start for them, 4-0. Big win on Friday over Dighton. Congratulations to Wallace County. They've got themselves a great start here. Even Coach Gaffeller texted me on Saturday and was like, how about those Cats?
That's great.
Anyway, and he might have been even talking about K-State Wildcats for all I know. But, hey, we'll say he was talking about his own team because they did have a good start to this year. Let's move on here on the morning blitz. Some other area high school football scores to get to. Goodland lost to Holcomb for the 14th straight time. They lose 34-14. Cowboys had 5 turnovers. Hard to win a football game when you have 5 turnovers. But I thought, in just a quick synopsis of this game, I thought it was the most competitive Cowboy football effort against Holcomb I've seen in a while. Even though the score didn't show it, it was a much closer game than what the score indicated. I mean, Goodland was down 21-0. Going into the early second quarters and was able to find a way to get a couple stops and put the ball in the end zone twice in the second quarter. They were down by 1 score going into halftime. So a very competitive game. But then you get into the second half, and the big thing was, what is Holcomb going to do to make adjustments? And then how can Goodland make their adjustments to those adjustments? And, Holcomb had to dig into the bag of tricks, dig into the bag of trick plays to get a touchdown at one point in time to kind of get their momentum going. And Goodland just could not find the offense after that. Holcomb's defensive changes, Goodland could not solve them. Goodland, I don't think, really had any drive longer than 3 plays in the second half. So they kind of got skunked in the second half. But I thought, defensively hung tight, almost had a pick six, had an interception deep in their backs against the end zone, had an interception, which was big, had another interception later on in the second half. So they had a couple of turnovers. Cooper Cranston's a dude, though. You're going to see him, I think, next week. Doesn't Holcomb play Colby next week? You're going to see Cooper Cranston next week. The kid's a dude. He had 2 interceptions, 231 yards rushing, and I think accounted for 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns.
There you go.
Yeah. Cooper Cranston's a dude. A sophomore at 6'2", 200 pounds. The guy is an absolute tank, and boy, can he run. That guy has got Division I football player written all over him. Because he's one of those. He's not like he's top end fast, because I think even though he is pretty fast, it's that acceleration from 0 to 60 that is impressive to see. So shout out to Cooper Cranston. He was really impressive. But Goodland, I thought, once again, in a losing effort as they fall to 2-2, I thought probably the most competitive they have looked against the Holcomb team. Even though the score may not say it, I thought this was one of the better times that they'd looked in the last few years. They looked pretty darn good. Some other area scores. You had Oakley beating Syracuse 21-12. They get back on the winning ways after a loss of 2 in a row. Hoxie beating Stockton 60-14. Quinter beating Ness City 34-18. Rollins County losing their second straight. They fell to Hill City 58-20. I think the Rainics are pretty good this year. St. Francis lost for the first time this season. The Indians falling to Decatur Community at a close one, 38-28, excuse me. Shiloh blew out Northern Valley 64-15. Wheatland Grinnell shut out by Logan Palco 50-0. And Golden Plains with a shutout win over Tri-Plains Bruce. So they get back on the right side of the win column 49-0. And Colby with a loss to Hugoton 63-18. A tough one there to call on Friday night there, Connor. But what were some of your quick takeaways?
I mean, looking back, it's a little bit of what you got against Cimarron. They had the Wildcat, and as for Hugoton, like we talked about during the past week, they've got that triple option attack. They had 4 guys that they used in the backfield who were all fairly dynamic runners. They had this kid, Isai Gerdado, specifically, who he was kind of a bowling ball. I mean, it seemed like every single run he had, he would get probably 4 or 5 yards after contact every single time and would just keep the legs churning. And their rushing attack overall was just so relentless that unfortunately Colby just wasn't really matching up that night up front, and they took full advantage. And then they set up the pass perfectly as well. Their quarterback Miguel Hernandez threw 3 touchdowns on, I think it was 5 passes.
But that's how that offense works. I mean, they're not going to pass it unless they're just like, okay, I think we've got them all sucked in now. They're all within 5 yards. Hit them with the pass.
And that's exactly what it was. They scripted it perfectly. They'd get one-on-one coverage with one of their receivers and then just chuck it up there for him. And they got separation. There were some fun moments for Colby as well, though. A kick return touchdown for Cody Wright. He's a dynamic athlete. And then he had a rushing touchdown as well. And Gage Crone had a fun play, 70-yard touchdown on a screen pass. He just kind of stayed on that sideline and came so close to going out of bounds, but just tiptoed his way to the end zone, evaded a couple tackles. So a couple of big explosive plays for Colby in there. But overall, the defensive, it's just tough when you get worn down by an offense like that. So unfortunately, they just couldn't keep up. They did force a few turnovers, though. There were a couple straight drives in that first half where they forced fumbles, but when you can't make anything out of that, it's tough to get the momentum.
Yeah, tough one there for Colby. And they'll have another tough game here coming up Friday night when they take on the Longhorns of Volkmer. They're challenging contest for sure. All right, we're on Weekend Winners and Losers here on the Morning Blitz. So glad you decided to join us here. Once again, get your thoughts and comments in. FB Bank text line at 785-899-2222. Got time for about one more quick winner. What do you got, a quick winner here?
I already talked about the Guardians, so I'll go to Jackson Dart. His first start as a Giant, got a win against the Chargers of all teams, which is pretty impressive. He didn't do anything too crazy, but he didn't turn the ball over. He ran for a touchdown, threw for a touchdown, and did what he needed to do without really making too many big mistakes. He did have one fumble, and he did this a lot without Malik Neighbors, who unfortunately tore his ACL in the middle of that game. But now he's without his number one receiver, but he managed the game well and got a win against a really good Chargers team.
Yeah, that was a good performance. I was surprised that they got the win, but Jackson Dart looked good. He did look good. And that, once again, the ability of having a running quarterback changes so much for you. Defensively, it just causes so many more gray hairs and headaches that you have to be prepared for, and Jackson Dart is a good mobile quarterback who can throw it as well. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if he's going to win many more games the rest of the season, but a nice first start in getting a victory. That's for sure for Jackson Dart. I could go on with the Kansas City Chiefs. I had the Kansas State Wildcats in as well. I just shout out to the Chiefs. That just looked more like it, but we're going to talk more about that with Nick Athlon. Let's get to losers real quick before Nick joins us here. What do you got for losers?
Losers, the first thing I look at, it was the Mets. They finished their collapse, had a 45-24 record at one point and led the NL East by a good margin, but they lost in the last day. I think they got shut out by the Marlins and finished 83-79, and the Reds made the playoffs over them with that tiebreaker. And to add insult to injury, they had a chance to tie the game, bases juice in the fourth. Pete Alonso hits a baseball 115 miles an hour.
On the screws, baby.
Yes, I think it was the hardest hit baseball of the Mets season, and it was straight to the Marlins left fielder to end the inning. And if that would have been anywhere else, it would have cleared the bases and would have made it a one-run game, but nope.
Yeah, it wasn't. The Mets were 45-24 on June the 12th, but went 38-55 the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm. Brutal.
And with that payroll that they have, it makes it even more brutal. So yeah, that's tough for the New York Mets. Absolutely. So, they're not the only loser. I mean, the Colorado Rockies are a loser of the weekend. I mean, finally we can put this to bed. But
did they hit 119?
They did. You are the winner. They got to 119. Rockies wound up with a record of 43-119 this season after a 4-0 loss on Sunday to the Giants, where they lose that series. They have, like I said, 43-19. That's just one loss less than the awful, pitiful 1962 Mets, which were terrible. But I mean, you want to talk about just some horrific stuff. I mean, you go through some of these stats. These are some just horrible stats. I mean, think about it. The White Sox, who had the second worst record, were 60-102. That was the second worst record, and they were like 17 games worse than that. I mean, just terrible. Colorado finished 25-56 at Coors Field. The most home losses in franchise history. The previous high was 46. They were 19 wins shy of the previous high, of the previous low. I mean,
awful.
The benchmark they set is terrible. They also finished with the worst run differential in modern MLB history. Here are some horrific stats. Once again, I'm sorry, Rockies fans, but we need to get this off our chest. Once again, finished the most defeats since the 1962 Mets. The Colorado pitching rotation finished with a Major League Baseball record 6.65 ERA, and allowed over 1,000 runs, and went a league worst 18-63 on the road. Brutal. The numbers are awful. The only bright number for the Colorado Rockies season this year was its home attendance. I bet it still finished top 10 in Major League Baseball.
Wouldn't be a surprise.
I mean, they were averaging over 40,000 fans. Now, once again, this is why I go on this tangent every single time we bring up the Rockies. This is why, because they've got a great downtown area that people love to go hang out and have a good time, go check out a baseball game. The weather's beautiful. The ballpark's beautiful. Who cares if the team stinks? We'll go watch whoever they're facing. We'll watch the Giants. We'll watch the Cubs. We'll watch whoever. If they come to town, we're just here to watch the game. So they draw huge crowds, but their team is awful. And guess what? That's why the Montforts, who own the Rockies, say, we don't have to spend any money on the team because people still come and watch.
Exactly.
So we're not losing any money. And we own all the fun areas around the ballpark as well. We're making bank no matter how bad the team is. So why should we spend some of that money on the team? Yeah. Boy, I'm telling you, it's a bad day. Bad time to be a Rockies fan. Bad time. Oh, so bad. They are losers of the weekend. And another quick couple losers for me. The Ryder Cup team for the U.S. falling to Europe again. You can't dig yourself such a deep hole. You can't get so down early on that you got to absolutely win every single match the rest of the way to get that done. You can't be asleep at the wheel to get started. It's amazing to me. The stat that's ridiculous is that, what did I read? That, the Europeans have won, I think, 11 of the last 15 Ryder Cups. I mean, the U.S. just does not know how to win golf in the Ryder Cup. They've got to find a way, better time about putting teams together and getting off to better starts. They just dig too deep of a dang hole.
Rory just owned them this year.
He did. He got him. Correct. I mean, they almost blew it. I mean, it was close. A big time putt there from Shane Lowry on 6-foot birdie putt on the 18th was able to kind of help put the Europeans at ease, but it was way too late. I mean, Scheffler didn't play great until late. I mean, they have the best golfer in the world, the United States does, and they still can't win the Ryder Cup. So not good for the U.S. And tell you what, how about college football top 10 home teams? Penn State and Georgia both lose. Heck, 4 top teams lost this week in college football. But Georgia, as well as, once again, Penn State losing at home. By the way, Penn State Oregon game, that was good. That was classic, man. That was a classic.
It was a good one.
So any other quick losers for when we bring on Nick Athen here?
I was going to mention the Ravens, of course, but that's pretty pertinent to our following conversation here with Nick. So,
well, we will get to Nick Athen about that here in just a little bit. So, all right, there you go. Weekend winners and losers. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Nick Athen waiting patiently from his Chiefs man cave, and we will he will join us here shortly to talk about the Chiefs. As I said earlier in the show, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's more like it. We'll get to that next here on a Monday edition of the Morning Blitz. Stick around.
Worried about poor coverage? With NextTech Wireless, you get the best service wherever you are. We may be Kansas-based, but you still get coverage nationwide. So, go out and explore knowing that we have you covered. And for a limited time, get the Google Pixel 9 Pro or Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus and a Google Pixel Watch 3 on us. NextTech Wireless, connecting Kansans.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
This is Austin Wright with the Anderson's Trade Group and your morning market update. It is September 29th. These corn, 419 3/4. March 26th corn, 436 1/2. May 26th corn, 446. December KC wheat, 504 3/4. March 26 KC wheat, 525 1/2. May 26 KC wheat, 539 3/4. November soybeans, 10.8 3/4. January 26 soybeans, 10.2825. March 26 soybeans, 10.44.5. Dow Jones futures are currently up 205 points at 46,761. S&P 500 futures are currently up 36 points at 6,732. NASDAQ futures are currently up 173 points at 24,900. Gold is currently up $34.60 at 3,843. Crude is currently down $1.22 at 64.50. For your grain marketing needs or more information on our free and pricing tools, you can reach the Kansas City office, Jared Law, Tyler Goshen, Tom Saludo at 913-748-3000. In Colorado, John Hankey and John Stiles, 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
This is Austin Wright with the Anderson's Trade Group and your morning market update. It is September 29th. East corn, 419.75. March 26 corn, 436.5. May 26 corn, 446. December KC wheat, 504.75. March 26 KC wheat, 525.5.
When you're an expert on soil and crops, you're a soil scientist. When you're an expert on the weather, you're a meteorologist. And when you're an expert on soybeans, you are an Asgrow farmer. Like you, Asgrow brand is relentlessly focused on soybeans with localized products featuring leading genetics and weed management systems. It all works together to give you maximum profit potential. Visit Asgrow.com. It's all about the beans. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices. For some farmers, soybeans are on their mind 24/7. If you're all about the beans, then Asgrow brand is all about you. That's why we've dedicated ourselves to developing truly localized products. Products with leading genetics and top-tier weed management. Products that maximize the profit potential of every acre you've got. You're serious about soybeans, and we're serious about your success. Visit Asgrow.com. It's all about the beans. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
It's game time.
What time is it? Game time.
You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Blitz. So glad you could join us once again. Get your thoughts and comments in through the F&B Bank text line at 785-899-2222. Had fun with weekend winners and losers. It's time to talk some NFL. Digging a little bit deeper, we're pleased to welcome into the program as he joins us on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, our good friend Nick Athen. Good morning, Nick. How are you doing today?
Great, gents. How you guys doing?
Doing well,
great.
man. That's the way it's supposed to look. That's how it's supposed to look. Chiefs with a dominant win over a very injury-riddled Ravens squad, but nonetheless, a win is a win.
That's right. When you get a chance to win against a team that you're going to be battling for a playoff position, you take advantage of it. Hey, listen, nobody felt sorry for the Chiefs in Super Bowl 55 when they lost 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen, so I don't want to hear about that injury-riddled crap. The Chiefs did a job on Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and Jay Flowers. I mean, I think that was kind of an unexpected performance by the defense, especially with the situation with Chris Jones, attending a family funeral that morning in Mississippi. His aunt sadly passed away this week. Got to the stadium at 3:00. Game time was 3:25. The defense was on the field first, and there was Chris Jones in the starting lineup. It's just remarkable. In 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, he can be ready to go.
Get that big body lubed up, ready to go. Yeah.
Because he walked in the stadium in his black suit and tie, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, there's no way he's gonna play the early part of this game. And there he was, feeding off the crowd. But the big winner, Steve Spagnuolo, that was a brilliant defensive game plan. The fact that he came after Lamar Jackson on the opening snap and said, this is going to be your afternoon, get used to it. And they got him for a touchdown early. And after that, he just had no chance to have any kind of success.
Nick Athen, our guest here from ChiefsBlitz.com. What is it about Xavier Worthy that all of a sudden gives this offense a little bit more juice? Or do you point to something else that clicked yesterday that caused this offense to kind of, as I would say, look like it's usually we're used to seeing?
I think the bigger thing was the fact that Patrick Mahomes had time in the pocket. And this is the first game I've preached this ever since Patrick Mahomes. He's only had 2 4-quarter games in his entire career in Kansas City, meaning success in each quarter, not any mistakes, played almost perfectly. This was that game. And he had time in the pocket. Kingsley Sumatea, 70, I think it was 70 pressures, nothing. He didn't let anybody leak through. That was the best game he's played. Josh Simmons, held it down on the left side. Now, granted, they had some, they didn't have some of their pass rushers in there when Smith went out, Roquan Smith, and that was a huge blow for them. But I think the way Patrick Mahomes just said, okay, I got my guy back. I can count on him. Here's another guy. And they used Worthy, and they maximized what they could get out of him. He admitted after the game that he was gassed, that he was cramping. He's not in football speed or football shape. But the 4, 5, or 6 plays that he made were huge, were a huge difference in this football game. So you add that, and I think Patrick was comfortable. But I think the biggest thing you take away if you're a Chiefs fan is one thing that stood out more than anything else. Patrick Mahomes was having fun playing football yesterday, and that has been missing for the last 3 weeks.
Nick, do you think what is, you were talking about the offensive line kind of shoring up in the pass protection area, at least against this? Once again, the Ravens didn't have everybody up front. That was strong. Nonetheless, still a good showing there. But what's more important in your opinion going forward? Is it the continued success of protecting Patrick Mahomes, which seems like an obvious question, but also finding a way to turn around and go the other direction, getting a push in the running game to help out Patrick Mahomes a little bit in other areas?
Well, I mean, I think they're equally important, but I think the running game has to be effective. Now, they were effective yesterday. Granted, it was running back by committee, which is going to be the case until they find themselves the next Jamal Charles. And, they may have that in Brashard Smith, but he's going to give me 5 or 6 more games and increase his role. By the time we get to November football, I think there's a really good chance he's the starting running back, or at least going to get 50% of the reps. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, it's kind of love-hate. You look at him and he can make plays, but his vision is just not very good. And you have to have vision. And you look at Kareem Hunt in short yard situations, that 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, he had to cut back, find the hole. Pacheco just doesn't do that. So I think the running game, if they get 100+ yards a game rushing, whether it's, I don't care who it's from, including worthy runs, that opens up the offense quite a bit. And I think that's important. They don't need to have a home run hitter. That would be nice to have because they have so many weapons, especially when Rashee Rice comes back in 2 weeks. I fear defensive teams are going to have to look at this completely different offense if the Chiefs play like this going forward without Rice. And when Rice comes back, they're going to be special. But you got to run the ball. They made an emphasis. I think this is Matt Nagy's best game as an offensive coordinator. And I know Andy calls the plays, but Matt really likes to push the run. And I think he designed some really good opportunities for the Chiefs to have some success in the ground game.
Do you think Brashard Smith's going to see a little uptick in carries next week?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think he's very confident young man. I mean, he was a 7th round pick. He just lit it up in college football last year at SMU after transferring from Miami, switching from receiver to running back. So he's got a good feel. If you notice how the Chiefs use him, a lot of motion. Now, that's the stuff he was doing at Miami. It wasn't as much as he was doing at SMU, but they put him in motion. He could do a sweep. He could do a screen pass. He could come back and run the ball. I mean, I like the way they're using him kind of in that. I'm not comparing him to Tyreek Hill, but I'm just saying the way Tyreek Hill early in his career was used in the backfield in motion and all over the field. That allowed Worthy and Travis Kelce to have some space. I think what you're going to see out of this young man is eventually he's going to be the starter for this team. Again, I think he needs a couple of weeks, but this is a big game at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's suddenly 3-1. They played great against San Francisco on Sunday in a surprise win, I thought. So it's going to be a big Monday night game coming up.
Nick Athen, once again, our guest, joining us on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, talking the Kansas City Chiefs, the NFL. How surprised are you on the production, at least this early season, from Tyquan Thornton?
I mean, all off season, Brett Veach is getting bashed. He can't draft wide receiver. Oh, he can. They had some failures. And here comes Tyquan Thornton, who they grabbed last year based on a conversation that Bill Belichick had with Andy Reid. So this kid's the real deal. But you know what? OTAs, he was with Patrick Mahomes. Minicamp, training camp, he and Patrick Mahomes were able to get on the page. And I think the injury to Worthy really allowed him to gain some confidence, in those first 3 games when he made some big plays. I mean, in the Chargers game, Mahomes missed him twice. In the Eagles games, he missed him on a wide open, would have been a walk-in touchdown. But they kept going at him. He's had consecutive touchdowns in 3 straight games. He is vital to this offense right now. And he was kind of the forgotten guy. Yesterday you watched the game and it's Worthy, Hollywood Brown. Juju Smith-Schuster continues to play at a high level. He is so important. I think he's the most critical wide receiver they have because he does so many things, catching the ball, blocking, all the things he does. He teaches these young kids how to be a wide receiver, what to look for defensively. But I think Tyquan Thornton, if this elevation continues, and again, you get Rashee Rice back. Think about that. That's 4 or 5 wide receivers plus Kelsey, plus Brashard Smith. It's mind-boggling to think what the potential of this offense could be. But he is key right now. He has carried this team offensively up until yesterday, and that's a good problem to have for head coach Andy Reid.
Nick, besides, if you take away Chris Jones, who is the most important defender on this team?
That's a good question, Ross. I think it varies. Like Nick Bolton yesterday was impressive. And Nick's not a guy with a whole lot of speed. I think what was impressive to me was the way Spags used him more in blitz and to shadow Lamar Jackson. I think he's pretty vital to the way he calls the defense. After that, you got to go with Trent McDuffie. Because generally he's the guy that's on the island covering the best wide receiver. And he gave up a couple of plays yesterday, which is, okay with me. But he's really, I think he's valuable. And I'm excited for the young defenders that the Chiefs have. They're playing really well. Noah Williams. I mean, we watched this kid in college and he just destroyed competition. And he's really good cornerback. And with Kristen Fulton still, who knows what the latest injury is with him. This is a good defense, but I think Bolton to me is probably the one guy they can't afford to lose at this point.
How much more challenging are the next 2 weeks? The Jaguars are off to a 3-1 start. The Lions, of course, have looked great after whatever that was in Green Bay in week 1. I don't even know what it was. It looked like it was an abomination. But how challenging are these next couple of games? I thought there might be a little bit of a reprieve before the Lions, but I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Well, the Jaguars, I mean, they took advantage of a lot of mistakes by San Francisco yesterday. Let's be honest.
They're still the Jaguars. They're still
the Jaguars. I mean, the most entertaining part of that game was Robert Saleh and the Jags head coach going after it at the end of the game. That was good stuff. We need more of that. We need more of that stuff in the NFL, right? Listen, I think the Chiefs have kind of solved their woes in the state of Florida, so I think they've got a pretty good chance to win this game. I think the Jaguars, again, I'm surprising that they're 3-1 in a division where I think they're tied with the Colts, who are also 3-1, which is a shock. The Titans are done, and who knows what the Texans are going to be. So I think this is a big game for Kansas City, just to kind of see, where they are. How this is huge for Jacksonville. They've never really been able to climb over the hump. This would be a good home win for them if they can get it done. But I think for me, Jacksonville is a team that they should beat. They're going to probably be favored by 4 or 5 points. And then you come back and you play the Lions. Detroit is the best roll the dice. Who cares? Let's just go find a way to win. I love the way Detroit Lions play football. They just pile it on. They don't care what the score is. And the Chiefs did that yesterday. I mean, 4th and 1, and they throw a touchdown pass to Hollywood Brown when they're already up, 3 scores.
Take that, Baltimore.
That's the mentality that I want to see from Kansas City. And I think Detroit is arguably, the way the Packers looked last night, especially defensively. The Lions probably are the best team in the NFC right now. And if they keep playing like this, maybe the Chiefs and the Lions are on a collision course for a Super Bowl, because my Super Bowl pick of the Chiefs and the Packers, I'm not sure at this point, because the Green Bay, I don't know what's going there. Offensively, they're generally pretty good, but that defense is just horrible. So yeah, it's they should beat Jacksonville, and then they come home on a short week Sunday night game against the Lions. That's going to be a tough game. That's not a good matchup for Kansas City.
Nick Atherton, our guest. A couple more quick ones for you. Was there what else stood out to you there in this last week of games? Was there any game that really stood out to you like, wow? Or are you more interested in what the Broncos have to do against the Bengals? Because you talk about like the ultimate Chief hater game. I mean, that is it.
Well, I did predict that the Giants were going to upset the Chargers, so I'm happy about that. I'm sad about probably being out for at least a month or 6 weeks with an high ankle sprain. I think the Broncos. This isn't a hate game for me because I've been generally optimistic and positive about the Broncos.
Yes, you have been.
I love I don't like their coach, but nonetheless, he demands my respect, and he's got a very difficult job. He's got a young quarterback that they're not on the same page. It's clear they're not, and that's to be expected from a sophomore quarterback. But this is huge for Denver. They need to win this game. All week, all the Broncos fans were telling me Chiefs are 0-2. They're going to win 5 games. The Ravens are going to kick their butts. They're going to lose to the Giants. Now the tables have turned. The Chiefs are in second place. Meaningless at this point. But Denver, to me, has to play well tonight if they want to be considered serious. Now, the Bengals are a mess. They're an absolute disaster at every single level, from coaching to offense to defense. They lost their star quarterback. They looked terrible last week against the Vikings, which I was a little surprised. I think the Vikings are good, but I don't think the Vikings were that good to put 40, 50 points on them. So big game for Denver tonight. They have to show some fire, and playing at home against a team that's wounded, they should win this football game.
Once again, he's Nick Athen, ChiefsBlitz.com. Nick, always great to catch up, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll do it again next Monday.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. Peace out.
Once again, great stuff there from Nick Athen here joining us on the Morning Blitz. We'll take our final break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show with some leftovers in the final segment next. Keep it here. You're listening to the Morning Blitz.
Gold are back, and you can catch the Goodland Cowboys and Cowgirls all season long on Goodland's Rocket 102.5. Join Ross Volkmer for every thrilling play, big moment, and unforgettable highlight.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3.
From the first pitch to the final horn, we've got you covered, no matter where you are. Goodland High School Athletics on Rocket 102.5 are brought to you by our great local sponsors.
Cornerstone Orthodontics, Outdoor Bank, M&M Supply, CFS Auctions, Next Tech Wireless, Rains Chiropractic, and Land to Legacy Real Estate.
Your business was built right here, so was ours. At FNB Bank, we are not run from some distant city. We are run by neighbors, for neighbors. We know what matters to you because it matters to us too. From local decisions to face-to-face service, we are here. Bank local, grow local, stay local. FNB Bank, member FDIC.
Traditions Restaurant in Goodland, where great taste is a tradition. Bite into juicy burgers, savor mouth-watering steaks, and enjoy service that always makes you feel welcome. Planning a get-together? Rent Freedom Hall, the perfect spot for parties, receptions, and more. Traditions Restaurant in downtown Goodland.
This fall, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has everything you could need. Keep your lawn strong with Ultimate Winterizer, the best defense before the frost. Warm up your evenings and create memories with a new fire pit. Or bring home the flavor with a great selection of grills and smokers from brands like Traeger, Blackstone, Green Egg, and more. And right now, the lumber prices are low, and so are the temperatures, making it the best season to tackle those outdoor projects. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Shift your career into high gear with Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. They're hiring a service and parts advisor and a loop tech, and they want you on their team. You'll get competitive pay, full-time hours, health insurance, a 401k, and plenty more benefits. all while working with the crew that keeps the tri-state area moving. So don't idle. Apply today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Your next career is waiting right there under the hood.
Breaking down the plays, the players, and the passion.
Who's got it better than that? Nobody!
This is the Morning Blitz.
All right, just a couple minutes left to go on our show here today. Thanks again to Nick Athen for joining us. Great conversation with him. Of course, if you miss any of this, check out the podcast. We are available anywhere you get your podcasts. I know we got a lot of great podcast listeners around, including your folks. Shout out to, I don't know what your mom and dad's names are. I have no idea. What are their names?
Bob and Sandy.
No, you're kidding me. That's your mom and dad's. I know a Bob and Sandy. I know a Bob and Sandy too, and they're married as well. I do. I know a Bob and Sandy as well. So that's gonna be easy for you to remember. Shout out to Bob and Sandy Schuh for listening to the podcast. Appreciate you. Get up earlier and join us live if you'd like to. We'd love to see your comments on the Facebook page or social. Are they into social media?
My mom much more so than my dad, but no Facebook for either of them.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to get your mom on something to get on YouTube or something. We get some stories from Sandy about her son. That's what I want to hear. I want that good. I want that type of good information. That good stuff. Leftovers here. Anything you want to get to in the leftovers? I got a few things. Anything you've got on your plate still left over? Get the nice little metaphor there.
I think I think we saw the best tie ever last night in the Sunday night football game. That was a great game.
Honestly, the game got so much better when you turned on the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's a shame that it had to end 40-40, but I mean, Dak and Jordan Love were going back and forth. It was great quarterback duel.
Why do we have to have ties in professional football? Why do we do this to ourselves? I've told everybody this. I have an idea for an overtime situation. It'd be more like the college game, but I agree. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly like that. It can be more challenging, but at the same, like I said, I have an idea for that. So that's a topic for another time. But I mean, just why do we have to end in ties? We don't need to do this. This is dumb. Let's get a winner.
After the 10-minute overtime, I think they should go to the shootout style college thing. You get
the 2-point shootout.
Yeah, the 2-point shootout. Yeah.
I mean, I could see that. My always idea was it's like the college one, but you've got either a minute or less, and you're starting at like the opposing 50.
Yeah.
And so the opposing 40. So you got to start, you got 60 yards to go. Can you get a field goal? Can you get a touchdown? Or like I said, that there needs to be some tweaking in that thought, but something along those lines, that would be fun to see. Because I don't even care if it's a 2-point shootout. I'd be fine with that. What's wrong with that? 2-point shootout. But anyway, by the way, the stat of the day on that, my friend, the Cowboys are 0-5-1 against the Packers at Jerry's World.
Wow.
They've never beat the Packers at Jerry's World. It's unbelievable.
That's awesome.
0-5-1. It's a ridiculous
I like that because
stat.
I don't like Jerry Jones.
Yeah, old Jerry. Old Jerry. A couple things for me in the leftovers we didn't get to. Haven't gotten to the fact that Kansas football loses one to Cincinnati, 37-34. Jalen, I mean, this game went exactly as I thought it was going to go. I mean, exactly. Two quarterbacks putting up ridiculous numbers, good number of points, but Kansas just comes up on the wrong end of it. Jalen Daniels, 445 yards, 4 touchdowns, including that touchdown to Levi Wentz that put them up with 2 minutes left. They were up 34-30, but the defense could not hold the great Brendan Sorsby, who marched his team 75 yards for the game-winning score with 29 seconds left, and Kansas drops their first Big 12 game of the season. They lose that one 37-34, but tough pill to swallow for KU, but a highly entertaining and fun game to watch. That's for sure. Really entertaining, but two great quarterbacks. And Colorado, by the way, they lost to BYU as I thought they would. Now, I was surprised they were up 14-0, but they blew that. They lose 24-21 to the old men from BYU. And then the Royals, we talk about the Rockies and how much they stunk it up down the stretch or the whole season. As a matter of fact, the Royals found a way to finish with a winning record. They were 82-80. They took 2 out of the last 3 against the A's. in West Sacramento, including a 9-2 win over the Athletics. A fun stat for you. Bobby Witt Jr. drove in two with a double. He finished the year as the major league hits leader for the second straight season.
Did he hit 200?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I do not know that.
Here, let's see. I can pull it up real quick.
Where's our crack research team at, Connor?
Hey, it's here. It's just running a little slow. That's all. 184 hits.
Okay, so he didn't get to 200.
And
still, though.
Okay. I thought that said 99 RBIs, but 88. Never mind.
So anyway, it was. I would say it was a down year for Bobby Witt Jr. in comparison to last year, but last year was just so astronomical. You can't blame him for it.
Yeah, that was 211 hits last year for reference.
Yep. So there you go. That's the morning blitz. All right, we've got to get to the walk off here. Here we go.
High drive, deep left, grand slam, and back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Difference going on in New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman, jackpot, Kansas City.
Okay, how we end up on picks this weekend?
Not great. You went 2-2. I went 1-3. You got the KU Cincy game right because you had the over.
Yes, took the over.
We both got BYU winning correct. And then actually, no, you went 3-1.
I was gonna say, I think I had didn't I get the Chiefs? I think
you did. You picked the over, and that hit by like 10 points.
Nailed that, baby.
So
3-1.
Yes, and you are now 6-3 on the young season. I am 4-5.
You will learn, my young Padawan. You will learn, or you will see
gotta
that
lock it in.
You will see that I will trip up next week.
Hey, we both got K-State and UCF wrong.
Yeah. Yep. I'll take the loss. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. I tell you what, speaking of not being perfect, can anybody explain to me what's going on in college football? Why are we firing coaches before even the midway point of the season? Sammy Pittman fired from Arkansas. Look, I know they got absolutely taken to the woodshed by Notre Dame. I get that, but what in the world? What are we doing?
A loser. That was bad.
What are we doing? I mean, but I understand that he was bad, but man, Bobby Petrino's already in there. He's cleaning house apparently this morning with getting rid of assistant coaches. Man,
Bobby Petrino's never
deal.
a good sign.
Who would have thought that Bobby Petrino, who had that job and got caught on the back of a motorcycle and boogered up his face, would be back being the head coach of the Hogs when it's all said and done?
It's ridiculous. so weird.
It just proves the fact: time heals all wounds, physical and emotional.
Yeah. Everything repeats itself.
All right, that'll do it for the program today. We're way past due. Thanks again to Nick Athen. Thanks again to you, the listeners, for being a part of the program. I will be back in studio tomorrow, but appreciate your patience. Hope everything worked as well as at least I think it did. So, fun show. Check out the podcast if you missed any of it. We'll see you back here on a Tuesday in the Blitz. Have a good one.